All right, shalom, shalom, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Shai, Shem Rachakodash, honor to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who do it well. Peace and salutations to the Akim doing the work of truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. All right, this is the brother number one Ariala with the UNF 90 Heroes Camp. Natural another lesson. Okay, and today I just wanted to go into the mystery of the Gentiles. Okay, this is a big issue for you Christians out there. You know, you really don't understand, especially when it comes to the English language. You know, one word can have two or three definitions. Okay, but you have to be able to apply the right understanding in the right in the correct precept. And even then, that takes the spirit, right? Because you know you cannot figure this thing out on your own. You cannot be wise in your own conceit. So I wanted to bring out the book. You like it? Wanted to bring out the book of Isaiah. No, not really Isaiah. Let's see, Hebrews 11, 25. You know, Romans 11:25. So like it. Okay. It says, and it reads, it says, for I would not, brethren, that you should be ignorant of this mystery, lest you should be wise in your own conceit, that blindness in part is happened unto Israel. Right. The Lord has put a veil over the eyes of some of these jakes, man. Matter of fact, let me put this here in the blue letter. I want to go on the NLT, get down a little further. Okay. All right. So going back here, it says, but I would not, brethren, that you should be ignorant of this mystery, lest you should be wise in your own conceit, that blindness in part has happened unto Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. Okay. So the fact who the Gentiles are is a mystery within itself. Only the elect is going to understand what that's talking about. Right. Matter of fact, let's get this real quick. Okay. Romans 11 and 7, Salakia. He says, what then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have found it, and the rest were blinded. Okay. So the Lord purposely, you know, made it so that certain Israelites won't understand this whole mystery of the Gentile thing. This is why this truth is only for the elect, right? Because there's really no, you know, going back and forth and arguing about the scriptures. The scriptures is for who it's for now. If it's not for you, you're not going to understand it and you're going to struggle with it. It's going to become a stumbling block unto you. Okay? So, wait. It's the book of Isaiah 6. All right, you start at verse 8. It says, also I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send and who will go for us? Then said I, here am I, send me. And he said, go and tell this people. Right? He's talking about the nation of Israel. Hear ye indeed, but understand not. And that's the people on the streets now when we talk about the Gentiles, right, coming out of every nation. Right? They're not going to all look like John Shaft. They're not going to all be dark skinned. It says that my heritage unto me is like a speckled bird. So we're going to look like different nations. We're going to speak different languages. But the whole thing is about bloodline. You can't see bloodline. Okay? And white and black are not bloodline. That's not a race. It's just a color. All right? But it says in verse 10, it says, make the heart of this people fat and make their ears heavy. Shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and be converted and healed. You see, so the Lord doesn't want a certain number of people to receive his truth. Romans 11 said, you know, what then? Israel have not obtained that which he looketh for, but the election have found it and the rest are blinded. All right. Romans 11:25. We just read it. For I would not, brethren, that you should be ignorant of this mystery, lest you should be wise in your own conceit. That blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. Right? And then when we go into the real understanding of the Gentiles, we know that the Gentiles were Greek speaking Jews. Right? It was the book of Acts 6 and 1. It was scattered amongst all nations, man. This is why that whole thing at Antioch, you had brothers from different parts of of the world, the known world at that time, right? Okay, coming to Israel for the feast. Okay, they were speaking different languages, but the Lord was still dealing with them. They were Israelites living among other people, just like how we are here in America and we're living among other nations, speaking a whole different language. How far fetched that to believe that this had already happened before in times past. Okay, so Salaki, Acts 6 and 1, it says, and in those days when the number of the disciples were multiplied, there arose a murmuring of the Grecians against the Hebrews because their widows were neglected in the daily ministration. Right. These were Israelite women and children, all right, whose husbands were also Israelite but passed away. All right, they were murmuring because they wasn't getting the help that they needed, man. They were Israelites, newly coming into the faith. Okay, so let's get in that word Grecian. Okay, that word Grecian goes to Hellenistus. All right, one who imitates the manners and customs or worships of the Greeks and uses the Greek tongue. Okay, using the New Testament of Jews born in foreign lands and speaking Greek. All right, this is it only you have to have the spirit to get it. All right, these were Greek speaking Jews living in the land at the time. Okay, and they were being neglected in the daily ministration. The food, the bread, the oil, the wine. Right. So the mystery of the Gentiles is real simple. The mystery of the Gentiles is going back to the Israelites that were scattered abroad by Yahweh, by the Lord himself, by Yahweh. The Lord could not look upon the wickedness of his people, so he had to cast them out of that land. Let's get the book of Isaiah 42 real quick. 42. Hmm. Okay, we can start here of Isaiah 42 and 22. It says, but this is the people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prisons and prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith restore. Right? Because the Lord scattered the children of Israel amongst all nations because of their wickedness. Okay? Because of the worshiping of idols. All right? Because of the burning of incense to idols. All these different things that pissed the Lord off. Okay? We wanted to be like the heathen nations. We wanted to be like the other nations. So the Lord casted us out of that land. He spewed us out of that land. All right. He allowed the enemies to come and devour us. All right. It says, and they are hidden prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivers for a spoil, and none saith restore. Who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken and hear for the time to come? Who gave Jacob for a spoil? Who destroyed Jacob and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord Yahweh, he against whom we have sinned? See, we sinned against the Lord, meaning what? Sin is the transgression of the law, the breaking of the law. For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law. So what did the Lord do? The Lord kicked our asses out of there, man. Okay, but he didn't do it to destroy us, but to actually teach us a lesson. Okay, and to open our eyes to what we're really, going to receive. This is Baruch 4:4 says, "O Israel, happy are we, for the things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us." Right. Psalms 147:19 says that the Lord showed us his commandments, not to no other nation. No other nation knows about the law, statutes, and the commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That was given unto us. That was our wisdom in the sight of the nations, man. But we abused it. We neglected it. So the Lord took that away, took away our identity, took away our heritage. We didn't know who we were. We're living in lands, assuming the identity of other nations, speaking the language of other nations, keeping the customs and the mannerisms of the other nations. We're a lost people. And this is why Ezekiel 37 goes in about the valley of the dry bones. Can they live? Can they live? All right, well, I'm gonna get that, but let me go through this real quick. It says, "Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel." Right to Zion, Zion. You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction. Wow, you were sold to the nations. Who? Who gave you up for a spoil? Did not the Lord give us up for a spoil? Okay, but only a remnant, a small number is going to return. Okay, who the Lord has opened their mind to receive this truth and understanding. The song of the 144,000, taught to us by our elders and our apostles, man, here at GMS. It says, "You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved the Most High to wrath, you were delivered unto your enemies, for you provoked him that made you by doing what? Sacrificing unto devils and not to your power." So what did the Lord do? He allowed the enemy to come and overtake us. All right. And he stripped us and made us bare. All right. We were ashamed, we were shameful before the other nations. We had no covering. All right. But now the Lord is calling us back. And he breathed that breath of life into us. Okay. He gave us that breath of life. And that breath of life is his knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We'll start verse 1. It says, "The hand of the Lord was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of Yahweh and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones." And we are the bones, the whole house of Israel. We are those dry bones, man. And caused me to pass by them round about, and behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, many were very dry. Meaning what? We didn't have this truth. We didn't have the river of living flowing water, Salakia. That flowing water is this truth. The scripture says, "Wherewithal can a man wash his young man wash his ways?" Through the keeping of the Lord's words, man. This word is the water. It refreshes, it renews, it revives. Okay, and without it, you're dead. And that's the state we were in. We were in a dead state of mind, man. Verse 3 said, "He said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live?" And I answered, "O Lord power, thou knowest." And again he said unto me, "Prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O you dry bones, hear the word of the Lord." How can dry bones hear the word of the Lord? Think about it now. Because the Lord is using a metaphor to show how lost and how distraught and spoiled we were, destroyed as a nation. But yet he's sending his prophets out there to prophesy to the people and say, "Look, wake up." All right, giving you the breath of life so that you may live and not die. Why should you die when you can live? And again, he said to me, "Prophesy unto these bones, and say unto them, O you dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord power unto these bones. Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you." Remember that breath, Yahweh, which means to breathe. The knowledge of Yahweh. That's what's being given back to us, man, so we can live. And you shall live. Verse 6. "And I will lay sinews upon you and will bring flesh upon you and cover you with skin and put breath in you, and you shall live. And you shall know that I am the Lord." Right? Because when you're outside of the law, such as the commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, you're in the congregation of the dead. All right, Proverbs 21:16, "The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding of the Lord shall remain in the congregation of the dead." You're dead, you're a dry bone. And you don't have this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right, it says in verse 6, "And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring flesh upon you, and will cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and you shall live, and you shall know that I am Yahweh." Okay, so this is us coming back to our nationality. This is us coming back to our right state of mind. Our identity is being given back to us. Our heritage is being given back to us. Our language is being given back to us. Okay, this salvation, this gift is not for any other nation outside of the nation of Israel. Remember, Matthew 1:21 says that Yahweh shall come and bring what? Salvation, or deliver his people from their sins. And who are the only ones who can sin? The children of Israel. Now you have Esau, Edom, who picked up that Bible and said that he was the children of the God. So now he has to be judged by that book as well. All right, but these precepts are not for him. This good news is not for him. A kingdom being set up here on earth where righteousness will reign, and the elect of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai will be ruling with Yahweh Shai, never seeing death, raising our children, living in the homes that we actually built, living off the backs of the other heathens, sucking on the teats of the riches of the other heathens, like how they did us. Come on, man. This is good news. It's not for every other nation, man. And the Lord is a separatist, and he's a racist, because he's for separation and he's for his own race, man. His people. The Most High has not cast away his people. Let's get that real quick. Hey, everything's in the book of Romans 11. We're coming out the whole book. I say, then has the Most High cast away his people? Most High forbid, for I am also an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. The Most High has not cast, and this is New Testament, not Old. The Most High has not cast away his people, which he foreknew. Knew where? When he brought them out of Egypt, put them in their own land, and when he kicked their asses out. But he says he's going to come back and recover them a second time again. All right? And he says, what not? What the scripture said of Elias? And Elias is who? John the Baptist. And we know that John the Baptist came back as Abba Bivens, to draw the hearts of the sons back to the Father by giving us this understanding and truth. How he maketh intercession to the Most High against Israel, saying, look, they have killed all thy prophets and digged down thy altars. I am left alone, and they seek my life. What saith the answer unto him? I have reserved myself 7,000 men, which is the complete number of men who have not bowed down the knee to Baal. All right, so the Lord has a number of people who are going to come back, who will return. Now, the whole nation is not going to receive salvation on the first go round. Ultimately, we're all going to be in the kingdom, right? Living off the land, all right? Living off the blessings and the covenants. We're all going to be in the kingdom at some point, but as we speak right now, only the elect is going to make it out of here, man. Right? The rest of the nation, they're going to have to come back to the seed and the loins of the ones who did make it. Right? So Lord willing, that's what's edifying, is just to prove the whole mystery of the Gentiles, man. The mystery of the Gentiles is that we were scattered amongst other nations. We kept the customs and the mannerisms of other nations. So now the Lord is calling us back to our nationality, man, no matter where we're located upon the earth. So with that, I pray the lesson was edifying. Once again, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops, a great millstone who do well. Peace and salutations to you, brothers, doing this work in truth and sincerity. To you all, I say shalom.